Hello there, everyone. Okay, so I just started recording this episode, and yeah, my microphone settings just vanished for some reason, so I was sounding really weird compared to how I hopefully sound now. So yeah, I've fixed it, but I did start reading through a piece of mail, so we've already got likes for that. Anyway, timestamp on the screen for those of you like skipping this part of my videos. Yeah, Sam, we're going to have a look at some mail. Yeah, honestly. All right, here we go. So the first piece I just happened to look through was from Thomas Sutherland. It was a delivery for a prepper, which is the cosplayer. So not a lot to say about that. We already knew we got a delivery to go for there. Next one, the junk dealer. Thanks for delivering the prototype. So that was going to depot south of Lake Knot City. So yeah, nice little thank you there. Then we've got come roar around the racetrack of your dreams. So, yeah, essentially, they're going to say to you, it sounds like there were plans to build one near the Timefall Farmer's place back in the day. We've already spoke about this. There's a racetrack down there. If you want to do it, you can do it. Me personally, I didn't think it was that great. Just donate the necessary materials like you would to any other structure, and your racetrack dreams will come true. Yeah, not for me. Alright, Porter's in a pinch. The Craftsman. Don't know if you heard, Sam, but that Porter team's building itself a real reputation. They've taken on their share of dangerous orders and come through without a scratch. Our engineer and elder friends employed their services, as have folks down in Lake Knot City. It's good to see people putting their faith in honest porters again. Been hearing less talk about Fragile Express collaborating with terrorists because of it. There is one downside to it all, though. I'm afraid, your blood, Sam, ain't enough to go around. Not for all the automatic grenades I'd be hoping to churn out. There's just no way to keep up with demand. For now, I've had to restrict the supply. Only folks on the most dangerous runs get to carry them. Clients know the score, but porters still want to work, so there's no easy solution. As far as problems go, though, I call this a good one. Evidence of how your hard work's been paying off. In fact, I'd say your blood's just as good at bringing people together as it is at driving BTs away. The Timefall Farmer, slaves to wheat. Dear Sam, seems we've grown more wheat than we can harvest. More than a bot could handle, even. Say, have you been making use of that new Odradek feature we shared with you? A friend of ours developed it especially for us so that we could analyse the soil and choose the best spots for growing wheat. Ours got lost in the terrorist attack on Middle Knot City, though. Still, we can definitely vouch for how useful it is, or how useful it was. Be sure to give it a try if you haven't already. Anywho, we've been doing some light reading to try and figure out what to do with our bumper crop, and it turns out the history of wheat is really quite fascinating. That's a high pitch, that. Did you know it was originally a strain of grass native to Middle East? That's right, but it wasn't until our ancestors began to cultivate it that it really came into its own. It turned hunters into farmers overnight, changing the evolution of mankind. Homo sapiens settled down in one place and stockpiled food rather than chasing it all over creation, and with stability came society, culture, religion, all courtesy of little old wheat. That's reasonably interesting. But it wasn't a one-way street. Oh no, wheat made out like a bandit. That obscure Middle Eastern grass wound up spreading to all four corners of the globe. You could even say it was wheat that used us and not the other way round. In fact, some scholars say just that we became slaves to wheat. What do you think about that, Are we all about to become slaves all over again? I sure hope not. Yeah, I doubt it. The Collector. We used to have things called magazines. Back before the Stranding, there was a medium known as the magazine, a collection of articles and pictures printed on paper. Some magazines had hundreds of thousands, if not millions of readers. At the height of their popularity, it wasn't rare for people to get all of their information and news from them. Journalists and editors would collect data, conduct interviews, and compile them into weekly or monthly issues, and readers would devour them with relish. My own father was the editor of a popular magazine. One that published hints and strategies for beating popular video games. Sadly, not long before the Stranding, digital media rose to prominence, and that spelled the end for print publications. Thanks to the internet, anyone could produce content, and anyone could consume said content. People became their own editors, their own curators of truth, as it were. But my father was always one to swim against the tide, and so he stuck with print, in spite of the writing on the wall. They called him the last editor-in-chief. Over the years, he amassed a massive number of magazines and newspapers, all of which I was free to peruse growing up. After he passed away, I took up the mantle and continued expanding the collection. But now, in this post-Stranding world, we have the Chiral Network. It is incredible technology, but will it be no different than the internet in the end? I, for one, have no desire to see it descend into the cesspool of abuse and misinformation. If nothing can be done to prevent that, then I want nothing to do with it. Interesting argument. I think we can all agree that the internet can be a bit of a cesspool at times. So I can understand why its reputation would affect people in this time. Okay. I've only just noticed the date and time on the right-hand side. 8th of April, I'm assuming, unless this is American, then 4th of August. Although saying that, it was 4th of August when I last played, I think, so that would add up. Alright, the Chiral artist. We got married! How are you holding up, Sam? You must have walked more than 1,000 miles by now. Try not to let it get to you. I'm sure it must be lonely work. Well, anyway, I wanted to get in touch and tell you that we got married! I know. Who gets married in this day and age, right? But through the Chiral Network, we got in touch with the priest and we said our vows, and that was it. Silly, maybe, but it seems to have brought smiles to a few people's faces. So, thanks for making it possible. We owe you more than we can say. Okay, we've got the Chiral artist's mother. Please look out for them. Dear Sam, wonderful news, my daughter's getting married. Oh, though you've probably been wondering, we're not related at all. I've never even been married, let alone had any kids. I took her in 5 or so years back after her parents died. She could barely speak a word of English. Her parents had been Japanese, but we managed in our own way. It's funny, until the moment we met, I thought I was destined to live out my life alone, all alone. But as soon as I laid eyes on her, that changed. I knew in my heart I had to protect her, make sure no one ever hurt her. Though I ended up doing that to myself by being too overprotective in the end. I've tried to make up for it. My daughter's leaving the nest at last, and I couldn't be happier for her. All I can do now is pray and hope for the best. And I'd be awful grateful if you could look on her and her husband from time to time, just to make sure they're doing okay. Okay. George Baton, way station west of Capital Knot City, a strange light at the incinerator. This is going to sound crazy, but you've got to believe me, Sam. So I was at the incinerator. They'd found a body near the way station and it needed to be burned. Since we don't exactly have a team of corpse disposal guys on call, I was given the job. I've been outside more than other guys lately, so it makes sense. It wasn't like I could say no. Someone had to do it. Doesn't mean I wasn't scared, though. I don't have dooms or anything, but you don't need special powers to know when a BT's caught your scent. And I could tell they weren't far behind. I just wanted to get the job done and come home, but one of them popped up out of nowhere and nearly gave me a heart attack. Somehow I make it into the incinerator without getting grabbed, and that's when things got really weird. I saw this glowing thing. This light, I guess. I wanted to take a look, but I wasn't about to take any chances. I had to get the hell out of there. I can't stop thinking about it now, though. You should check it out if you had the chance. Okay, now I did clarify this today, actually, that both the Half-Life little companion cube things and these your partner J things, they're all connected to the director's cut. So yeah, sorry if I confused anyone regarding that. But yeah, let's have a read of this then. So your partner J. Hey there, Sam the man, it's J. Clear recall, memory bit recognised. I gotta say, these delivery systems of yours, they're pretty advanced. It only took me a minute or two after hijacking them to locate my second chip. The chip, you'll know it when you see it. You'll see V, big old V like last time, like home. Problem is these mules got to it first. Stuck it in a postbox for safekeeping. But you know, I know you, Sam the man. I bet a gal like you loves a challenge. Am I right? Right? Take the order, run up with it, and I'll update your map with the latest info. The rest is up to you though. Finding chips is one thing, it takes a living, breathing person to go get them. I don't think. I am not. I do not qualify at the moment. When you're up for it, you'll find the gig order waiting for you at Lake Knot City. Alex Weatherstone, anything left outside America? By the way, I had a lot of mail this day. Sam, thanks again. You've done a great deal to keep things ticking here at the weather station, which we appreciate. And the Chiral Network? It's incredible. If you can continue to expand coverage with your Cupid, it won't be long before we'll have real-time tracking of meteorological phenomena all over the continent. We still won't have much of an idea what's going on elsewhere, but that's not a whole lot we can do about that. And while I may be chasing rainbows, I still hope we can get a view from above the clouds one day. Sorry, I like that. It's crazy. No one really knows what's happened to the rest of the world even now. Maybe the Stranding destroyed everything except America. Maybe we're the only ones shrouded in clouds of chiral matter, and the rest of the world is carrying on without us. Or maybe the whole damned universe got wiped out and we're all that's left, floating in space. Alright, that last one's just me being a pessimistic ass. But the point stands, we need to know what's out there. And to do that, we need you to bring the whole continent into the network. You're our best hope, Sam. Our only hope, in fact. The Timeful Farmer, the best damn brew you'll ever drink. Dear Sam, another long day on the road, I'll wager? Well, you know what soothes mind, body and soul after a hard day's work? A delicious draught of Timeful Porter. We finally got up to brewing up a batch of beer. You familiar with porter? It's an English ale that's been made since the 1700s. It was popular with the couriers who used to deliver loads up and down the Thames, hence the name. And the other part, well, I don't think I have to explain that. It's crafted with the finest fasting growing wheat under the timefall. So, Mr. Legendary Porter, why not put your feet up and enjoy a tall glass of your namesake? And don't think this is the end of it. We'll be baking bread and cooking pizzas before you know it. Just you wait. You can take the time on the pizzas, mate. Thomas Sutherland, kick back with some Timeful Porter. We got another one here. Oh, that's a thank you for delivering some. Okay, I was going to say, they're really into this Timeful Porter. William Lake, Middle Knot City got nuked. You probably heard, but Middle Knot City was nuked about a year back. Civilians, staff, everyone in Everton gone in the blink of an eye. They said it was a terrorist attack. Demons doing their thing. Assholes. Fragile got caught up in the whole mess somehow too, though I wasn't privy to the details. Long story short, they started screening deliveries a whole lot more thoroughly. Not that it made a difference. It was one tragedy after another. We lost half of South Knot City not long after. Half's better than all, but a whole lot of people still died, and it shoot the rest up pretty bad. They started to wonder if joining the UCA wasn't the worst choice they ever made. And the more people said it out loud, the more paranoid they got. It festered and spread, that thinking, beyond the city even. Not that it takes much for your average prepper to buy in. You might think becoming a part of the chiral network would have helped calm things down a little, but we still don't have a handle on the terrorists. It could all fall apart at any moment, but if it does, we can't let it beat us. Even if everything we've built breaks down, we've got to do what we can to patch it all up. That's all there is to it. The film director. You really are unique, aren't you? Sam Bridges. Maybe it's just my imagination, but ever since I signed a contract, I'd swear I've seen you at least a half dozen times here or there. Was that your hologram, perhaps? Surely it couldn't have been every time. Not when you came to see me bearing gifts. Nevertheless, it's hard to believe there's only one of you running around, though it's equally hard to believe that so many others could resemble you so very much. Goodness, could it have been a ghost? Or someone masquerading as you, perhaps? Oh dear, what have I got myself into? Well, you leave me no choice. Next time you come through, bring that Cupid of yours and make me an official member of the UCA. You're the only one doing that for the people, correct? And that should prove beyond a shadow of doubt that you're really you. And then last but not least, Peter Englert. A desperate plea for a second pizza pie. My dear Mr. Sam Bridges, it is I, Peter Englert, the world's foremost connoisseur of the delicious pizzas you so faithfully deliver. Though my impudence would shame the very devil himself, I regret I must entreat you to bring us another of these delectable dishes, this time from South Knot City. I'm expecting company, a sweet couple of whom I'm intensely fond. They insisted that they be allowed to take the air, but with the wilderness being so dangerous, I refused to entertain the thought. Alas, while we will be remaining indoors, I am incapable of preparing anything but the most base and disagreeable cuisine, and so I must place myself at your mercy yet again, lest the poor dears starve. While I have already, I am very much aware, gone far beyond the bounds of common decency in making this request, I must compound my sins with a stipulation. The pizza in question must be topped with the bacon of the incomparable Iberico pig. Probably butchered that. No pun intended. All right, so that was all the mail. I got 5 interviews as well, so let's just go through those. So this is from Die Hardman, the situation after the first Death Stranding incident. This is 3 years ago. There were a series of huge explosions. Well, not so much a series, they were simultaneous worldwide. The global comms infrastructure was shot to hell, but we salvaged what we could and tried to make sense of what had happened. It didn't seem like much at the time, but it was a hell of a lot better than what we have now. Oh, there we go. Anyway, the government figured the whole thing was a terrorist attack at first. We'd been dealing with a lot of those back then, but it didn't take long to see that this was something else. The craters left by the blasts were bizarre. There were no rubble, no dust even, which led to scientists to rule out meteor strikes. There was trace neutron radiation, alpha rays, but we knew it wasn't nukes either. Some of the particles we detected we'd never even seen before. Chiralium, although we didn't know it at the time. The more we studied them, the more our scientists came to the same conclusion. These were the results of annihilation events. It was right about that time that chiral clouds started to form, and after that, all communication with the outside world went down for good. Okay, so essentially as soon as Timefall came, communication with the rest of the world died down as well. Dead Man. No blue in the inverted rainbow. 1 year ago. We humans are complex multicellular organisms. 60 trillion cells inside each one of us, they say. How many of these cells need to die for us to consider a person dead? Are there any cells in particular which determine whether a person is alive or dead? These questions are academic, of course. The exact point of death can't be calculated using cell counts. On the other hand, no one can deny the existence of degenerative diseases that gradually destroy more and more cells, leaving the victim effectively half dead. And what about me? Most of my organs have been harvested from other people. They still work, of course, but could their original owner have been said to be alive? I really don't know. Incidentally, have you ever heard of a fun little experiment they once did with roundworms called C. elegans? These creatures are notable for glowing bright blue when exposed to UV light, but only when they die. It seems to be a reaction from the anthralic acid within the organism, and it's known as death fluorescence. Yep, that's right. Blue is very much the colour of death, it seems. Can it therefore really be a coincidence that there's no blue in an inverted rainbow? Timefall strengthens an area's connection to the beach. This is something to do with chiral particles becoming excited, I believe. In spaces connected to the beach, electromagnetic waves with a blue wavelength can travel easily through the seam, leaking out onto the beach. Some people think that's where the blue through the inverted rainbow goes. Who knows? The fact that blue has such a strong connection to death, though, that much seems pretty inarguable. Yeah, if you look at the rainbows, and whenever you see a rainbow in the game, it's a sign that BTs are around usually, and yeah, there's no blue in them, so it's a little interesting, that. Okay, I figured they would have one from Hartman. This is about giant BTs. I said I'd be curious about this one. 2 years ago. The following assessment is based entirely on eyewitness testimony. Be advised that none of these claims have been independently verified. There are several types of BT, and the means by which they interact with the living also varies. Some BTs actively seek out human beings, while others attempt to draw us towards them. Still, others are capable of consuming their prey, causing a void out in the process. It is not only their roles and behaviour that sets them apart, however. Their physiology is also different. Moreover, we have anecdotal evidence suggesting the existence of some truly enormous BTs. Curiously, however, these ones do not appear to have umbilical cords. Giant BTs are comprised of the consolidated car of multiple deceased individuals. As a result, the connection between each individual and their beach is lost, which is why the resulting BT does not manifest an umbilical cord. That's the theory at any rate. Unfortunately, I doubt we'll be able to learn more about these entities until the chiral network is online, a day that can't come soon enough. So yeah, if you see one of these giant BTs, they're pretty scary in my opinion. I mean, maybe I'm just finally feeling a bit of fear with this game. But yeah, I really don't like them things. They give me the EBGBs. So yeah, interesting. Okay, so we're just going to scroll down a bit more because I'm sure we got a bit more. Prepper interview, the junk dealer, 6 months ago. Incredible, isn't it? This hourglass. See how the sand flows upwards? Got chiral particles in it. That's why it moves like that. And look at the shape of the glass. So elegant, so delicate. Just like the girl who made it. Hard to believe it's even of this world. But it was made by human hands, alright. Crazy, isn't it? No wonder everyone in South Knot City knows her work. You can imagine how I felt when she gave it to me. I guess you could say it was a thank you present. She'd asked me to fix something for her, and this was all what I got in return. You know, I've done jobs for all kinds over the years, but none of my customers ever did anything like this for me. Most will just toss you a couple of likes and that's the end of it. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a like or two, it's just, this was different. The moment she gave me this hourglass, I knew I wanted to be with her. Never happened though. I ain't cut out for love and relationships. I don't have what it takes. Other people kinda scare me, to be honest. Still, even if we can't be together, at least I'll have this hourglass. And then last one, an asexual world. This is with a counsellor 3 years ago. Records suggest that the widespread aversion towards physical contact and intimacy was a phenomenon that had been observed even before the Death Stranding. One contemporary report, for example, details the increasing popularity of the sexless lifestyle among young people. A growing percentage of the younger cohort were self-identifying as asexual, claiming to be incapable of feeling desire or attraction. Accordingly, such individuals are less likely to have children or engage in sexual activity. It should be noted, however, that many other unique sexual identities were being recognised during this period, such as demisexuals who are incapable of sexual attraction without an emotional connection, and panromantics who profess an attraction unrestricted by sex or gender, albeit one not necessarily sexual in nature. One theory posits that the Stranding accelerated the proliferation of these sexualities. In a terrifying new world in which BTs roam and annihilation is an everyday occurrence, people have grown reticent to form emotional connections with others. Although there has been no measurable decrease in human fertility, the birth rate has nevertheless dropped dramatically. Incidence of sexual harassment and assault has also seen a sharp decrease, which seems to suggest that sex could not be further from our minds, for better or for worse. I must preempt myself by admitting that I do not have any empirical data for which to support this claim. That said, it is my contention that, based on the aforementioned observations and others, the vast majority of the population could be categorised as asexual. Flag for archival review. Article advances as a controversial thesis widely regarded as unsubstantiated and discriminatory. Prevailing theory is that increased self-identification of aforementioned sexualities is due to increased societal awareness and acceptance. Historical records indicate individuals asserting identities falling outside cisgender heteronormativity faced significant discrimination and persecution, leading to suppression and concealment as survival strategies. It is generally accepted that a variety of factors contributed to reduced sexual activity and birth rate pre- and post-Stranding. Studies are ongoing. So, yeah, essentially that last little bit says the first bit is a load of BS. Which does sound right. Okay. So we've all caught up there. We should get a fair few likes there. The drunk dealer, the craftsman, the carol artist's mother, and the timeful farmer, and Thomas Sutherland, and Peter Englert. Alright. So I've been talking for 23 minutes. I need to go and get a drink just so I can refresh myself. Okay, we're getting a cutscene.
Sorry about the mess. I got caught in the rain. Oops. Didn't mean to give you a shower. Tried waiting it out, but when I checked the time... I'm sorry. Should have come sooner. I got rain in my eyes. Just give me a minute.
Okay. Okay, so I've got a bit in here. Let's just see what we've actually stored in this. So we've got 2 things for the collector. We've got amatic grenades, container repair spray, PCC, and 2 floating carriers. So I'm going to load that onto my current floating carrier, and then we can just store the truck. There we go. So let's put that in the garage.
Storing vehicle.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So we have got quite a lot on us. There's no denying that. But hang on, I did forget to collect my order as well. We'll get there. All right, I don't know what's top of my pile as well, so we might need to shift that as well. Let me just go private locker a second. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, so, oh, we got another grenade. Chuck that in. I've just got this image of throwing a grenade, not thinking, and suddenly I'm wondering why a mule was dead. Okay, so take. Oh, hang on, we've got these memory chips, so let's just cache these in. We'll cache this one in. Okay, so there we go, Sam.
You picked this up for me? You shouldn't have. Really.
All right, I won't do it next time then. New interview data required. Journal 56789.
Thank you for your contribution.
Okay. Take on orders. Orders for Sam. We've got pizza delivery for Peter Engler. Now, the issue is, as you can see, he's all the way up by Lake Knot City. That is one hell of a trek. So, we've got 60 minutes to do it. We shouldn't need 60 minutes, but it's not an easy journey, even with that in mind. So, I'm hoping we can cut some time out, but we'll soon see if that's possible. We've got speed skeleton, so we don't need to work on anything like that. We've got a bowler gun on us. Yeah, I'm not seeing much of value here. Don't really want to take a bike because bikes can be very... Saying that, maybe a bike would be helpful. I was just saying that to myself, but I suppose the question is, can I fit all the stuff on my carrier on my back? If I can do that, I'll take a bike with me. So there is a long range one, I think. Let's try that. You can borrow other people's vehicles, by the way, if you're just wondering what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't want that. I don't need a carrier. Why are you giving me a level 1 carrier? I don't want it. Have I just accidentally crafted it? Yeah, I don't need it. PCC level 2, I asked for that, yeah. I asked for a trike. But yeah, I don't need that.
Pizza should always be kept flat during transport, as in level with the ground, to be clear. Keep that in mind before you try to stuff one in a backpack. Otherwise, you're liable to make a huge mess.
Okay, so yeah, that goes on top. On top, go on. And like I said, I don't want that floating carrier, so put that in my private locker. And you see, now that isn't right. So I do need to put something on my back to force the pizza up. Carry that on my back. Where's the pizza? Offload. Then, hopefully, if I go here and put it on my back, it's on top. There we go. I think I did that right. Yeah, there we go. So, that is all right. Okay. So now we've got the carrier. Put that on my back. It says auto arrange. I'm going to have to be careful in case the pizza... Yeah, it's still flat, so that's okay. We've got the floating carrier. Put that on my back. Again, auto arrange once again. Hopefully the pizza did stay flat. Yeah, it's right at the top, though. So yeah, we'll stick with that. Let's go. Pizza delivery is not as simple as you would think. I'm surprised Domino's didn't sponsor this game. Okay. Oh. Okay.
Order assigned. Delivery parameters updated. Time limit.
Deliver the pizza before it gets cold. Now, the biggest issue I feel like I'm going to come across here is the fact that we can't just go straight in that direction. We've got to take a, I'll call it a diversion, but it isn't. Essentially, we've got to go the long way around. Now, I'm going to follow the path the roads provide, but there's going to be a point very soon where we can't do that. Also, by the way, I'm going out my way because this is Mama's lab here. Really? I should have just gone and done Mama's lab, but I thought, you know what? We've just had a load of mail in the opening of the episode, so I actually want to do a mission. Okay, BT area. We don't actually encounter BTs in this little stretch that I'm going to be driving on, but the game likes to be protective of us. Alright, I was a bit concerned then in case I happen to knock off a bit of my cargo. It looks okay though. Okay, so we're going to go this way. Again, I will stand by that. If ever you're in doubt on direction, just follow the road pavers. They aren't 100%, and it's like here, we're going to have to go down here, and I don't particularly want to go down here. But it's better than not going anywhere. Can I... Alright, there we go. We did a wheelie. Wheelie solve everything in Death Stranding. Alright, I'm hoping we can hop down here. Ah, that's the cosplayer. If I got the cargo, I'd go and deliver it. Alright, so if I can just gently... Alright, we might have just damaged the cargo a bit there, but we're on the right path. Out of curiosity, did I damage it? 1% damage, 19 to the container, so it's not the worst. It wasn't great, but it's there is worse to be done. Oh, okay, didn't see that bump. So, in case you haven't worked it out, once a cargo is damaged, it can't be repaired. But the container can always be repaired with container repair spray. So, it's a significant difference. It's why you always want to make sure that you respray the container if it looks like it's going to be ruined. Because as soon as the container's ruined, your cargo is going to be ruined. Alright, this is rough. And we're getting close to mule territory, as you can see. I'm hoping I can find a bridge. Worst comes to worst, I can deviate and go towards the junk dealer area, but for now, this is rough. Okay, we're back on the Carol network, so hopefully that means there's a bridge nearby. Or a generator. I can see a generator up there, so I might charge up. Oh, wheelie, Sam. Wheelie. Wheelie, wheelie. I've got to say, I wouldn't like being on Sam's back while he's driving the bike. I imagine it's a very rough journey. Okay, so we're not in time full now, so I am actually going to get this out and spray it on my back. Just see if we can recover those bits of containers. Okay. Now for a direction. I'm thinking that looks kind of preferable, but it also means I'm kind of going to have to take the mules slightly head on. But it's more preferable than going for directly towards the camp. Let's take this slow. You can use a bike to get over these Carol bridges, but they're a bit narrower, so they're not as safe, if you know what I mean. Oh, there's one of them. Let's speed up a bit. Boosty. Have a boost. Have a scoose boost. Oh, go on. We'll do a bit of an extreme landing. It does say on the PCC listing that when you do a jump on the, like you do an extreme move, it does cushion your landing. That's why you do it. It's goofy as all hell, but it kind of fits with the game. Here we go. I'd say we're on track now. And I don't mind doing this in a way because it means we can just also come back down to South Knot City with something. Things I don't want to stall the plot, I don't want to slow the story down. I feel like the last episode or two we did have a fair bit of story. So it's not the worst thing just to slow it down a little for this one part. Ooh, what's this? Ah, okay, it's just basically back there. Go on, I'll pick it up just for the return journey if I can. Nope, looks like Sam's saying, nope, that's too much. Can't lift it. Got too much on my back as it is. Stop asking for more. Alright, so yeah, for me it's a straight shot back to Lake Knot City. Just stick to the middle of the road and we're good. So, yeah, I say it so many times, but I'll keep repeating it. Build the roads. I'm going to say there's only one form of structure that is better than them. And honestly, we're going to see that in the next chapter. So I'm looking forward to that. I need to clarify that sometimes, because obviously we've got chapters, episodes. Yeah, when I talk about things, well, I'm usually talking about YouTube when I'm talking about that as far as how you guys are perceiving it. But yeah, of course there are actual splits in the story here as well. So we're at the end of this one already. The this chapter was Unger, if I remember right. And yeah, it's a very short one. It just encompasses the trip to the battlefield and the return, so it's not that long. I think it is good though, because it does kickstart an important part of the story. It's bonkers to think that this many hours into the game, you're still starting parts of the story. I mean, I can understand why people wouldn't like this game, don't get me wrong. I said it right at the very beginning. I can understand why you would call it a Marmite game. But for me, there was that little pull straight away of, who's this guy Mads Mikkelsen's playing? You know, and I feel like the game really holds on to that until the last possible moment. It's a thread that the devs, Hideo Kojima really wanted to make players wait to find out. Or at least wait to find out the full story. You might be able to guess half of it, you might be able to guess most of it, but if you guess all of it, then you were very good early on. But yeah, Lake Knot City. So we're going. Oh, hang on, saying that, I've just remembered we're not going to Lake Knot City. Alright, that was dopey of me, I'll be honest. I got in my head we were going here, where in fact we are going to Peter Anglert, aren't we? I think we're still okay for time. I don't think we've hit a penalised point yet. But still, it'd be nice to get there in good time. We've got a Carroll Bridge here. Can we use it? We should be able to. Oh, just slipped off at the end. Oops. It's a good job the bridge doesn't trap cargo. Alright, just have a little swim. We're nearly there though. It's just slightly tricky driving with high cargo because you can't really see everything. I suppose it's a good compromise for ourselves who, considering Sam's got all the cargo on his back, it means that we can't see everything because of it. Alright, so that took us 8.5 minutes give or take, so not too bad. I wouldn't say it's from one end of the map to the other, but it is a pretty lengthy journey.
Delivering cargo. Delivery complete. Displaying performance evaluation.
Alright, so cash that all in. S rank, lovely. We got 3 points for delivery time because we delivered in good time. We are now a master transporter, none can deny your indomitable strength of will. And we've now got Bridge Link 60. That means we've got sync level with other players been increased by 10%, can now make more Strand contracts, can now make more upgrade cooperation requests, and the period for which you can send likes has been increased to 10 seconds. Okay.
Thank you for your continued support.
So, I don't think we ever get anything here, do we? Nah, just no orders to collect. So we're going to just nip to Lake Knot City. That's kind of why I was going that way. And there is an order there as well, so we will just quickly do that, and then that will be the end of this part, because, again, I recognise it's been a long part, but these are two very big side missions, if you like, so I wanted to cover at least one of them. We'll probably start the next one. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, we'll drive to Lake Knot City, and then we'll start the next little side mission at the start of the next part. We'll get straight into it. This is the trickiest bit for me, right? Trying to break everything up, because I want these episodes to be nice and short for you guys. I don't want you feeling like you're having to watch 40, 50-minute parts every time, especially if there are times when I'm maybe just reading out lore. So I want to try and make it sure it's nice and short for you where I can, but when there's a lot of lore like that, like there was today, it can be tricky to break it up. Hopefully I'm doing a good job. I'll find out based on how many of you are watching, I guess. The bike looks in decent nick still, but we are just going to park it up. Alright, yeah, let's just drive here. Ooh, drive here. Walk here. So, let's just put this in the garage, because we're not going to need it. And we've got a lot of cargo here. And we won't need a lot of it, so I'll tell you what, we're going to leave it there as far as this part. So, thank you very much for watching and for listening if you took in the lore at the beginning. We're going to be back very soon, and we're going to be raiding some mules. Plus, we'll be visiting Mama. So, stay tuned for that one in particular. That's a fun part. So, yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye for now, everyone.